welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a extra long spring freestyle on a returning client, so y'all stick around and see exactly how I did it. So I knew I really wanted to do some spring or summer nails, and we were gonna do yellow at first, but then I found this really pretty green color that I got from CHISEL that I'm gonna show you guys a little later. It was kind of giving a softer green, maybe like a Tinkerbell kind of look. I really feel like that's what these gave today. But getting right into the nails, I am currently removing the shine of my client's natural nails. And my client's nail plates are pretty flat, and she really doesn't have a lot of cuticle for me to remove, so I did not go in with a cuticle bit or with a cuticle pusher. Before I actually use the sanding band on my clients, I do rub it against a hand file first. This way I don't cut my client, because I am also pushing the cuticles back as I'm using the sanding band and removing the dead skin. For the freestyle today, we're going to be using these XXL Coffin No C curve nail tips, and y'all, I done finally got them nail cutters. They do make things pretty quick. I definitely like using them, and whenever my client just wants to go down, I'll just remove one and then see if that's what she'll like. Using the same fine grit sanding band, I am going to start to go over the nails and make sure that the natural nail is blended with the nail tip. And I am later going to kind of shape the sidewalls just a little bit. These are already pre-shaped, so I'm really just going to lightly clean them up and make sure that the bottom of the nail is straight too. I do this on a low speed, and I just apply a little bit of pressure. I don't really like using it at a high speed. I don't want to cause any heat spikes. Definitely don't want to hurt my client. When I was working, I had noticed that my client did have a little bit of dead skin that came up when I was using the sanding band, so I am going to remove that before I continue. As always, y'all know what I'm going to say already. I'm going to go in with the dehydrator first. Then I'm going to go in with one coat of my Young Nails Protein Bond and one coat of my No Lift Primer. This is the combo I use in every video. I'm going to keep saying it, because this works, and the nails should not be coming up or lifting, or coming off is what I meant. For my application today, I'm first going to be using the Mia Secret Clear on the natural nail. I did place a very small bead. I'm going to be sculpting out a French tip. I was a little nervous because I have not done French tip this way for a very long time. I've really just been focusing on learning how to hand paint it perfectly. So we're gonna see how this goes. For the French tip nail, I am placing my bead sideways. This way I can already kind of create a smile line look. Afterwards, I am gonna have to clean my brush off because there was a little bit of acrylic stuck on there, and I'm gonna start to bring the acrylic powder to the center, starting from the side. Afterwards, I'll start to use the side wall of my brush to start to sculpt the smile line. When I'm doing French tip this way, the first thing I like to focus on is making sure that I get the smile line as low as I would like. So that's why I first focus on bringing the acrylic powder down first and then shaping the actual smile line itself. I placed this bead directly on top of where I placed the previous one. This is where I want the apex to be, and we're going to build the apex now because I'm not going to encapsulate this nail in clear. When I was done getting my application really smooth, I did go back in on the side walls to just clean the smile line up a little bit because I didn't want to mess up the deep French line I already had. For the cuticle bead, I'm going to have to pick up a very, very tiny bead, and I'm going to place this bead slightly away from the cuticle area, and I'm going to allow it to just lightly flow there. So I am making sure that I'm holding the finger down and I'm being very gentle. Me personally, when I'm doing cuticle application, I allow the acrylic to do the work for me and just slowly fall into the open space. And if I need to clean anything up, which I'm doing here, that's what I'll do. Again, going back in with the Mia Secret, I did apply a very, very small bead of clear acrylic onto the natural nail, and I'm finally going to be showing you guys this light green color. The acrylic powder that I'm using from Chisel today is OM22B. It is a light green color and it does have a little bit of a shimmer. Immediately after placing the bead, I did adjust my client's hand to make sure that her finger was pointing downwards. You do want to make sure that you're doing this so that if any acrylic is going to run, it'll run straight down the nail instead of falling over on the sides. I am being extremely gentle with the acrylic powder as I'm working with it, and this acrylic powder really doesn't dry super quickly, but it also doesn't dry slow. I absolutely love their consistency, and if I was to own an acrylic brand, I would want it to be this exact consistency. Like, this is really good. For a very smooth application, after I place the bead, I do make sure that the top of the bead is flat first. You want to make sure that the top of the bead is flat so that when you place the next bead, there's no lump or bump in that area. So immediately I'm pressing down on the top of the bead, and then for the rest of the nail, I'm going to start to wipe down. If I feel like the powder is drying a little bit too quickly, I will go back into the monomer to make sure that my brush is a little damp before I continue. You don't want to work with a dry brush. The acrylic powder will get stuck in the brush, and that's the last thing we need because these brushes are expensive. There was a small dent in the cuticle area on this nail, so I did add one bead of clear acrylic. And just as I was doing earlier, I did make sure that the top of the bead was flat first, and then I focused on the rest of the nail, making sure that it was really smooth. For this nail, I did want to do a ombre nail from nude to clear, so I did start off with a small bead of my Bad and Bougie acrylic powder from Valentino. I placed it from the side, and then after I got the cuticle area right, I did start to blend it down onto the nail tip. The gold flakes with monomer alone stick very well to the nail, but for stuff like the small butterflies or any type of flowers that you can encapsulate, I recommend placing a very small bead of clear acrylic on top just to let it set in place because you don't want it to move. I am going to allow the pointer finger to dry before I encapsulate the nail with clear completely, but I actually did these nails for her for free. Now this client has been coming to me for years, and you guys probably seen her tattoos plenty of times on my YouTube channel. And even before she got her tattoo, she was coming to me, so it's been a little minute. Now I had just randomly texted her and was asking her like, hey girl, like, are you free tomorrow? I really want to record some content. You do not have to worry about paying me at all. Like, it's completely fine. She always comes with gifts to every appointment. She's bought me so many purses and fanny packs. I literally have a small collection because every time I see her, she brings stuff. So I just wanted to let her know that I really do appreciate her. So I was not charging her for these. Yeah, I love how this nail came out. I honestly wish we would have done a full set of nails just like this finger. But for the next finger, I did want to encapsulate some flowers and some glitter, even though I really didn't have a lot of flowers like I wish I did. So I will be doing another French tip nail on this one, but then I'm gonna let it dry before I start to shape the nail. Before I started to add the acrylic powder to this nail, I did clean up the smile line. The video was a little bit out of focus when I was doing that, so that's why I did not leave that in there. But I did place my first bead right underneath the smile line. I'm gonna make sure that that's fully on the nail before I move on to the other two sides of the nail. I was just thinking about this, and I think my top 3 acrylic powders right now gotta be Chisel, Not Polish, and Valentino's Cover Colors. The consistency on those are amazing. I'm really not too much of a fan of their other colors, but I think for now that gotta be my top 3. I don't know what I said in the video I made like 2 years ago, but I should do an updated video. Y'all let me know. These flowers are from Amazon. I did get them in a pack. I believe it was 2 different cases of flowers, but unfortunately I used all the other flowers in the other pack. So I was left with the larger flowers, and I am gonna lightly just put a little bit of acrylic powder on it so that it stays in its place. And I'm gonna do the same thing to the butterflies and the gold flakes. For filing the nails, I did want to get the acrylic powder off of the smile line first before I start to seal the cuticle area. And right now I am getting extremely close to the skin using this tapered bit I got from Amazon. This bit is from Pana and it really didn't cost that much. It is a great nail bit to have in your collection. I do try to get my application as smooth as possible so I won't have to file too much. So in the cuticle area, I really don't stay here for too long. I just go around the acrylic a couple times so that I know that it's sealed and there's going to be no water getting underneath the nails because that will cause lifting. When I'm finished with sealing the cuticle, I do like to file the nail down just a little bit with this 80/80 grit file, and I am going to go over the entire nail. I'm also going to go underneath the nail and straighten out the bottom of the free edge. The bottom of the free edge. The bottom of the free edge. Yeah, the free edge is the bottom of the nail, so like I said, I am going to make sure that that's straight. I also do like to turn my clients' hands around when I'm finished just to make sure that they're all straight and that they're all the same length. When I'm doing this, it is on a low speed. I don't want to accidentally overfile or have the drill going too fast and mess up the nails, because then I will have to shorten them. So I do use this on a low speed, and I'm just going to lightly go over the free edge and then take my drill bit and go underneath the nail too. I was finished with filing her nails and filing under the nails as well. I did start to buff the nails using this 80/80 grit buffer. I do buy buffers in bulk. I honestly just grab a bunch of them when I'm at the nail store because I only use one buffer per client. So I'm going to go through them pretty quickly. Before I add any of my designs, I do have my client go and wash their hands in the bathroom really quickly before we move on. And I am using this Macart Diamond Gel for the butterfly charm. And y'all see I put a pretty good amount of gel on there. I am going to press this down and then flash cure it for a few seconds before I move on. When I was done flash curing it, I did want to be extra and start to add some flowers. Now these are the biggest 3D flowers that come in the pack. I really don't use them too often, but I felt like they would be the perfect thing to add on the outsides of the butterflies. And they do come with caviar beads, so I'm going to place some tiny caviar beads in the center of the flower using the Zule bling glue. did place some of the smaller flowers on the other smile line, and I did later go back and add those tiny caviar beads in every single flower, which did take a little minute, but it's worth it because they're cute. And of course, at the end, I'm gonna show you guys a couple different photos of how they came out. Just before I let y'all go, I did recently get an airbrush, and I would love to show you guys how the nails came out when I used it for the first time. I was a little confused at first and I made a mess, but they came out cute, and I do want to show you that really soon. So you guys could let me know down below if you'll be interested in seeing that. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. And of course, I'm gonna show y'all how these nails came out.